ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وسلم تسليما كثيرا أما بعد فإن شاء الله to follow up what Sheikh Khalil was mentioning, and he touched upon it a bit, and he mentioned it when he mentioned the Quran. When we're looking at Ramadan, many of us right away were thinking, man, my legs are going to get tired. We have to stand in Taraweeh again. Man, how am I going to get through these long days? I'm going to be so thirsty. I'm going to be so hungry. What are we going to cook? We're talking about those things as the main things. But what we really always seem to not give too much importance to is the Quran itself. وَفَضَائِلَ الْقُرْآنِ, the virtues of this book that we have, that is Allah's speech, Allah's actual words. The book was not created. Allah's words are not created. He spoke them to Angel Jibreel alayhi salam and sent that message down to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. This Quran that we have is a guidance for mankind. And it is the thing that we are to take in order to have the answers as what's to get us to Jannah, what's right to Jannah, what is right and wrong. Allah, He says in the Quran, وَقَالَ الرَّسُولُ يَا رَبِّ إِنَّ قَوْمِ اتَّخَذُوا هَذَا الْقُرْآنَ مَهْجُورًا وَكَذَلِكَ جَعَلْنَا لِكُلِّ نَبِيٍّ عَدُوًّا مِنَ الْمُجْرِمِينَ وَكَفَى بِرَبِّكَ هَادِيًا وَنَصِيرًا. Allah says in the Quran what means, and the Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, "O my Rabb, O my Lord, verily my people abandon this Quran." Can you imagine? You live your whole life a Muslim, or you came into Islam in the middle part of your life, and you came in with Tawheed and with the correct Aqidah, and you prayed, and you fasted, and you gave your zakat, and you went to Hajj, and you are good to your neighbor, but you abandon this Quran. Can you imagine that you're a Muslim and you're dying and you think that you're going to be resurrected and saved because you died upon Tawheed, but you abandon the Book of Allah? You could be grouped into that category. Thus we have made for every prophet an enemy amongst the mujrimun, the disbelievers, the polytheists, the criminals, but sufficient is your Rabb, your Lord, as a guide and a helper. So hasten towards memorizing the Quran, learning the tafsir, according to, as given to the Salaf Salih, the righteous predecessors of the Ummah. We have an obligation to represent Islam, and you cannot represent Islam without knowing Allah's speech, Allah's words, which is the Quran. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, one night he had a dream, and two men came to him and caught hold of his hands and took him to the sacred land, and he saw four things. One of those things was a man who was lying down, and above his head was another man standing with a rock or a boulder, a stone. And he would drop it on the man who was laying down's head, and it would crush it when it struck him. And the stone would roll away. And when the man who dropped that rock on his head would go and retrieve the stone or that rock, the head of the one who it was dropped upon would refigure back to what it was. And the man would come back with the stone, and he would do this again. And this would keep happening and happening. When the Prophet ﷺ was asking what is going on, they would say, keep going on. Finally, he got to the point where he's like, I need to know what I've been seeing. So they told him, with respect to this one, he said, نعم والذي رأيته يشدخ رأسه فرجل علمه الله القرآن فنام عنه بالليل ولم يعمل فيه بالنهار يفعل به إلى يوم القيامة. He said the one whose head you saw being crushed is the one who, when Allah had given him knowledge of the Quran, he memorized some verses, he knew it by heart, but he used to sleep by it at night. He didn't recite it. And he did not act upon it during the day, and this will be his punishment until the day of resurrection. You think now just because you say La ilaha illallah, Allah being the most just, especially to his slaves, to all mankind, that this is a safety that you're free from? No. This will happen to the one who had the Quran and memorized it. and knew it until the day of resurrection in his grave. So this Quran, we have the fada'il al-Quran, the virtues of the Quran are many. And this is what we need to focus on. We have abandoned the Quran. This is the problems, this is the source of the problem in the Ummah. We've abandoned the Quran. And in it the command, what? To obey Allah, to obey who? His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You abandon the Quran and the Sunnah. The two things the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, if you hold on to these two, you'll never go astray. And we're questioning why the Ummah has the problems. It's very clear. We have abandoned what we should not have abandoned. قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم خيركم من تعلم القرآن وعلمه. The best of you is the one who learns the Quran and then he teaches it. How many of you learn the Quran and you're seeking knowledge for yourself, but you don't care to let others know about it? You don't care to teach others. You don't care to make people know what Allah is saying. I always describe this to the non-Muslims when we educate them. Oh, you see that? Oh, can I have a copy of the Quran? I say, here's the copy of the Quran, in English only. But I tell them, just be mindful that this Quran I'm giving you has about 10 volumes at least to describe it, for you to understand it. So we need to learn the Quran and then teach it. قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لا حسد إلا في اثنتين. There is no envy except in two cases. رجل آتاه الله القرآن فهو يتلوه آناء الليل وآناء النهار. One of them, the one we're concerned with at least now, is that a man whom Allah or a woman whom Allah has given the Quran and they recite it throughout the night and throughout the day. And a person whom Allah has given wealth and they spend it throughout the night and throughout the day. Nowadays, we're envious of what? Somebody's good looks, somebody's lip size, going for Botox and this and that. Somebody's wealth. Man, how did this person get this wealthy? I want to do the same thing. Somebody's size of their family. We get to the point where we envy so much. We inflict harm with hasad, with the evil eye. This is how much we envy. Not only do we want to have what others have, we want others to lose what they have. When our Prophet ﷺ told us you can only envy for two things. And this isn't the malicious envy where it's taken away from them. But you can only envy for two things. Having the Quran so that you can read it and recite it throughout the night and the day, and having wealth so you can spend it in the cause of Allah throughout the night and the day. Not this other things that all people are envious with nowadays. قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من قرأ حرفا من كتاب الله فله به حسنة والحسنة بعشر أمثالها لا أقول ألف لام ميم حرف ولكن ألف حرف ولام حرف وميم حرف. The Prophet Muhammad صلى الله عليه وسلم said, whoever reads a letter from the book of Allah will receive a hasanah, a good deed for reading the recitation. And the hasanah is multiplied by 10. And he didn't say that when you say alif, lam, mim, that this is one harf, that this is one letter or one statement. But rather, alif is a harf, lam is a harf, mim is a harf. You can get 30 hasanah. Who here thinks they have enough points to get into Jannah? If the mizan was to be brought forth, the scale, which is a haqq, it's a reality. If we were to bring it forth on this day, if Allah were to send it down from the heavens for us to wear these, who thinks they have enough to go to Jannah? If you do, don't read the Quran. But I can tell you, none of us does. Because in the end, we know from the Prophet ﷺ that even our deeds won't get us into Jannah. It will be Allah's rahmah and His mercy that will finally give us that admittance. We know from another hadith, because of our starting late, again, please forgive us for this, the one who's skillful in the Quran, in reciting the Quran, is with the unveiled, the honorable, the pious ones, the hur al-ayn. And the one who stutters, when they're reading it, they stutter. It's difficult for them. They don't have the tongue position. They may not be native to the Arabic language, whatever it may be. They get ajran, they will get 2 rewards, double the rewards. This hadith is in Bukhari. So this should be an encouragement for all of us, especially us who may be, have been born here and our tongues are heavier when reciting Arabic, to read and learn and struggle to learn the Arabic language, to learn the Quran, to memorize it with tajweed, because we will get twice the reward. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, although I've seen two authentications of this hadith, one Hasan Sahih and one Da'if, ثم قال, he said, إن الذي ليس في جوفه شيء من القرآن كالبيت الخرب. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, verily, he who has nothing of the Quran in his heart, it's like a house which is destroyed. We know إن في الجسد مضغة إذا صلحت صلح الجسد كله وإذا فسدت فسد الجسد كله ألا وهي القلب. In your body is a piece of flesh. If it is sound, the rest of you will be sound. If it's corrupt, the rest of you is going to be corrupt. Indeed, it is your heart. So imagine now that heart, the foundation of that heart, the foundation of Tawheed, where you have to learn the Tawheed from. The original source is in the Quran, it's in the Book of Allah, and in the Sunnah of His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Your heart, I don't care how much it loves, how much good it wants to do, how good its intentions are. If you do not have the Quran as your guide in your life, then it is like a house which is destroyed. Don't expect any shelter or protection from your heart. The Quran, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he narrated, Al-Quran shafi'un mushaffi'un. The Quran is an intercessor. By Allah's permission, it will intercede, and an opponent which is truthful. He who appoints it as its leader, who the Quran is your leader. Is this right or wrong? Let me go back to the Quran. You need more clarification? Going to the Sunnah, this is a protected source of Allah Azza wa Jalla. He told you to obey Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam many times, and to take from him what he allowed and to keep away from what he prohibited. So you have those two sources. He said, who appoints it as his leader, then it will lead him to Jannah. But whoever puts it behind him, it will only lead him to the hellfire. This is the virtues of the book we have, this Quran, that we all love and claim to be so valuable to us. It's Allah's words to you, to mankind, to everybody. His final message, the thing he said, he will not allow it to be changed. And it has not been changed in its 1435 years. It has not been changed. He has protected it from above the seven heavens and the earth. This is a message to us. And we walk on this earth as if we don't have it. Or as if we know better how to interpret it. Or as if we can change some of the things that are said to make it mean something different. Wal-'iyadu billah. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, fasting and the Quran will intercede for the slave on the day of resurrection. Fasting will say, oh my Lord, I prevented him from food and desires, so accept for me an intercession. Accept for me an intercession. So the Siyam, Ramadan is not just about the Siyam, it's the month of the Quran. It is the month of the Quran. This book that is Hudan lin-nas wa bayyinatin min al-huda wal-furqan. The guidance for mankind, with a clear proof for that guidance and the criterion between right and wrong. We have that. Allah gave us the navigation system to get to Jannah. Yet many times we think we have a better idea of what it will take. Allah Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, ta'ahadu hadha al-Quran, maintain the Quran, safeguard this Quran, because it will escape from you like the camel that's free of its reins. It will walk away, it will wander. How many times have you memorized some Quran? I will point myself out. A month later, you get mixed up. You get confused. You stutter. You forget. You delay. And you get down about it. You're in the grocery store though, and you hear some tunes from 20, 30 years ago. If you're that old, it could be 5, 10 years ago for the younger brothers. Now I'm going to put myself in the older category. Inshallah. You'll hear some music tune, some song from you heard when you were a kid. You'll know every word to the lyric. If the person did a med, like we do with Quran, with Tajweed, if they did a med, the singer or whatever, you'll know how long that med is for. You can imitate it to the T. Shaitan wants you to learn one and remember one. He wants you to forget one and not learn it. That's the Quran. That's another proof you have that this is what is correct, what is in this book, and what we are called to. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, verily Allah, He raises nations by this book, and He puts down or destroys other nations by this book. Anything that happens to our ummah, or we see occurring within our ummah. Know that at the foundation of it, the first question that has to be asked is this nation upon the Quran and the Sunnah? We mentioned it in the khutbah, I think a couple weeks ago, when Abu Darda, he went into a masjid, and this is in the time of the Khalifa Uthman. Uthman was what? His Khalifa began about 12 years after the Prophet ﷺ passed away. And he returned home angry. And Darda, she came to him and said, why are you so angry? What's gotten into? He's like, I just came back from the masjid. This is, okay, you're now in the time of the Tabi'een. And we know, خَيْرُ النَّاسِ قَرْنِي ثُمَّ الَّذِينَ يَلُونَهُمْ. The best of mankind is the generation of the Prophet ﷺ, the Sahaba. Then those who follow them, the Tabi'een. He said, I'm so angry because I have not seen anything from the Ummah of Muhammad ﷺ that they are doing that is in accordance to the Sunnah, except that they're still praying in Jama'ah. Except that they're still praying in Jama'ah. Meaning many of the aspects of even their Salah, the Sunnah aspects of it, there's people missing and not doing it. Allah will raise nations with His book or destroy nations. The status of the beholder of the Quran and the one who puts it into practice. قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقال لصاحب القرآن اقرأ وارتق ورتل كما كنت ترتل في الدنيا فإن منزلتك عند آخر آية تقرأها The Prophet Muhammad صلى الله عليه وسلم, he said, it will be said to the beholder of the Quran. It's a beautiful hadith. It will be said to the beholder of the Quran, recite and ascend and rattil, recite slowly and distinctly, as you used to rattil, as you used to recite in this dunya, in the life of this world. For your level in Jannah will be at the last verse you read. This is a motivation for us to learn the proper recitation and to practice it. Even the ayat you know, even if it's few, that you keep rehearsing them so you don't forget them. That you try hard. You perfect their tajweed, you perfect their recitation. Look at your last place in Jannah will be at the last verse you read. Again, we hear from this, you recite slowly and distinctly. I don't care if you get through the Quran every 3 days or 4 days or 7 days or 1 day, if you decided to go that way, even though we're not supposed to theoretically. If you are not doing it correctly, without any benefit, if you're reading it just to say, I got through it, it's become a show-off contest. Oh, alhamdulillah, in this masjid we did the khatam 3 times in the month. First of all, if you're butchering it, and you're a Speedy Gonzalez, basically you just want to just get through it to say you got through it, and you're proud of how you got through it, but you got nothing from it, and it did not affect your heart in any way, and you attained no khushu' because of it. Really, did it matter how many times you read it? Or how many times you listened to it, or what it may be? Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, in another hadith, he said, اقرأ القرآن, read the Quran. وَعْمِلُوا بِهِ, put it into practice. وَلَا تَجْفُوا عَنْهُ, do not abandon it. Do not ever leave it off. And we know from the Prophet ﷺ, his other famous hadith, where he would hold on to 2 things. If you hold on to them, you'll never go astray. Kitab Allah wa Sunnat Rasul. The book of Allah, Azza wa Jal, and the Sunnah of His Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Do not abandon it. Do not abandon it. Do not put grudges upon others through it. Do not eat or gain wealth through it. In another hadith, he said, read the Quran. Through it, seek the pleasures of Allah's face. The face of Allah, His pleasure with you. Exalted be He. Before there comes a nation that implements it like an arrow. They read it fast and they do not recite it slowly so that they can implement it. Again, this is the norm amongst us, and we've been warned to be the opposite. But now this is the norm. And if you try and do it any way different, you're criticized, or mocked, or ridiculed, or made fun of. We have to wake up, realize how important this book is that we have. It is the words of Allah, His actual speech. His actual speech. A thing not created, as Sheikh Mahmoud, when we had the conference on the four Imams, all of the Imams were in accordance with that. All the 4 Imams were in accordance. that it was not created, but it was actually Allah's speech. The virtues of studying the Quran as we wrap it up. قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وما اجتمع قوم في بيت من بيوت الله يتلون كتاب الله ويتدارسونه بينهم إلا نزلت عليهم السكينة وغشيتهم الرحمة وحفتهم الملائكة وذكرهم الله في من عنده. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, there is not a group which has gathered in the house from the houses of Allah, reciting the book of Allah and studying it between them. Studying it. It's not just enough we recite it. This is one aspect, but we need to study it. We need to study it. You can memorize it. If you don't know what it means, or it cannot move you, or get you some khushu' in your salah, etc., then this is something which is deficient with you. Studying it between them, except that tranquility, sakina will descend upon them, and rahmah will befall them, and the angels will encircle them, and Allah will mention them to those who are with Him, yani the malaika. Allah will mention you. Look at my servants. You angels, you have free, yani you don't have free will. You're at my command. These people on the earth, they have desires, they have lusts. They could go out, they could go gamble, they could go do whatever they're going to do, but they're instead deciding to meet in one of my houses and study my book, my words, and learn them so they can better themselves. And he who falls short in gaining knowledge or memorizing it should be prompt in action. If you can't get to the point where you're memorizing, at least learn what you should act upon from it. And that which lineage will not hasten him to do. Do not rely on your lineage. Who cares what clan you're from, or what tribe, or what country? Who cares what language you speak, how good your food is, how nice your clothing is? Your lineage will not avail you. Your family name will not avail you. So either way, hasten to study, do hard work, and get knowledge. Allah said in the Quran, شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان. The month of Ramadan is the month in which the Quran was revealed, a guidance for mankind. Clear proofs for that guidance. It's clear. ما فرطنا في الكتاب من شيء ونزلنا عليك الكتاب تبيانا لكل شيء. Allah said, everything has been explained in this book clear. Nothing has been neglected from it. Everything is clear in it. And the criterion between right and wrong is in it. This deen is complete. We need to live by the Quran as our guidance. In it is the command to obey Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and who abandons him, abandons Allah, and he abandons the Quran. In closing, Al-Fadil, he said, they used to ask Allah Almighty 6 months before, he said they used to ask Allah the Almighty 6 months before Ramadan to grant them a long life so they could reach the next Ramadan. And they used to ask Allah the Almighty 6 months after Ramadan to accept their siyam. What have we done since last Ramadan? When it was over, we went right back into our mode, as if the month did not happen. The Sahaba, they used to ask Allah to accept their siyam for 6 months. And then the next 6, they were preparing and hoping to see the next Ramadan. The companions, we're giving ourselves what? By this conference with Ayah, 3 weeks. Get yourselves ready. Not because, how am I going to adjust to no caffeine, no coffee, and
coffee man, that's right.
I'm a soda man. And all those things. Not because of that. Because now is the time to turn to Allah. We've all sinned greatly. Now we need to turn to Allah. We all need the guidance. We need to turn to Allah. We need to learn how to accept all the qadr that happens in this dunya, the good of it and the bad of it. We need to turn to Allah. This is the month to do it, to retrain yourself, to charge your battery. The companions used to give special preference to the Quran during this month. Their recitation wasn't only in reading, but they wanted to contemplate over the meanings. Ibn Umar radiallahu anhu used to cry very much when he would read the Quran. One day when he was reading Surah Al-Mutaffifin, it was said that when he reached the verse, يَوْمَ يَقُومُ النَّاسُ لِرَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ, the day when all of mankind will stand before the Lord of mankind. The day you will stand before your Lord. And inshallah, we will be in His shade. Inshallah, He will shade us under His arsh. And we will be able to see Him on that day. Inshallah. But he read that verse, Ibn Umar radiallahu anhuma, and he would cry so hard that overwhelmed him, and he couldn't read the Quran. We hear this every year. I never heard one person shed a tear or seen, and I advise myself first. Ibn Umar radiallahu anhuma, he'd hear this verse, he couldn't continue reading Quran anymore. This is how they were moved. Look at the words that day when all of mankind will stand before your Lord. Death is not something you can escape. Young, old, healthy, sick, it doesn't matter anymore. It's happening every day where people are going. When Ramadan started, Sufyan al-Thawri used to leave all of the acts of worship, all of the ibadah, and turn to the Quran. I mean, he wouldn't stop praying in the lights, but the Quran became his focus. Malik ibn Anas, he used to run from all circles of knowledge when Ramadan started, and he turned instead to the recitation of the Quran. Let this month, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam, fall upon us. We ask Allah to allow us to see it, so that we can benefit from the Quran, read it, recite it, and understand it. Okay, Jazakumullah khair. So we have this blessed month full of opportunity. Take advantage of it. It may be, if Allah allows us to live until the end of this month so that we may see Ramadan. If Allah allows us to see it, it may be our last Ramadan. Do not take it for granted. Take advantage of it. It isn't just about fasting and siyam and qiyam. It is the month of the Quran. Don't think it's about food and sweets and just getting through the month and saying you did it. This is the month where Allah spoke His words to Angel Jibreel alayhi salam to send it to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam for all of mankind. We ask Allah to make us benefit from this. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. We're going to delay Maghrib for just a bit. About 10-15 minutes, so you can have the light appetizers and snacks, inshallah. And then we'll call the adhan and give a period of time before the iqamah of about 5 minutes. So in the social hall for the brothers, you can go and enjoy some light snacks and appetizers. And sisters, you can go along this partition into the main vestibule and grab some food. Just please only eat the food on the blue tarps, not on the carpet itself. Barakallahu feekum wa jazakumullahu khair. We'll have the adhan called in a few minutes. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.